Ever trapped forever, the Nutty Putty tragedy.
When families gather for the holidays, fun activities are often planned to make core memories together. The Jones family decided to go caving at Nutty Putty, but they had no idea of the devastating loss their family would suffer. This is the fatal breakdown of the Nutty Putty Cave tragedy. John Jones was ready for some family fun when they decided to explore the Nutty Putty Cave in the Utah.
It's in the middle of nowhere. What would possess somebody to do this? Especially, like, it'd be one thing if it was out in the open or like in an area nearby, but this is surrounded by nothing. Nothing. The nearest thing is the lake.
When they decided to explore the Nutty Putty Cave in the Utah desert near Salt Lake City. He had not been to this particular cave before.
Oh my god, dude, they got a headstone right there. I mean, I guess it makes sense if that's what he loved to do, but damn, that's fucked, dude.
But he and his brother Josh had spent much of their youth caving in a variety of Utah caves. He considered himself to be an experienced caver, though his exploring had slowed down in recent years. He had gotten married, had a child, and was currently a medical student at University of Virginia. This made for a busy regular schedule, which left little time for cave exploring. During the Thanksgiving break, he was returning home to relax with family for the holiday. They planned a day of hiking and
See, like, I've been in caves like this before. Me and my buddies, we went in a cave not too long ago, and like, this was nuts. Caves like this where you can crouch or even stand up, maybe cram yourself a little bit. But if I don't have enough room to like stand up, turn myself into a starfish and do a 360, not for me, buddy, not for me.
Exploring at Nutty Putty, which is considered a beginner's cave by most.
Look at this, bro. Like, you going from here, you're literally like this with it. And you think in here it would be even better, but like, you like maybe have a little bit more than what you previously had going in either side, wherever the start is of this place. Like, that's not it.
Which is considered a
Like, what if you get stuck in? You're just
beginner's cave by most. The main areas of the cave were interesting for everyone. There was the maze room, which had openings and tunnels leading around large boulders. There was a large ramp.
Yeah, like, what if you miss something and you just bonk your head on one of these boulders? You're gonna be disoriented, confused. You're not gonna have any clue where the fuck you are.
Ramped area called the slide, where the entire room sloped down at a 45-degree angle with a rope to guide you down.
Yeah, that shit. I've never been in a cave with a rope, but the slope, that is absolutely terrifying, especially if you don't have proper shoes or clothes for it, because you're gonna absolutely eat shit if you're not paying attention. Like, whenever me and my buddies went in this cave not too long ago, we kind of had to like angle our feet and anchor down, so that way and like, me, I don't know about them, but me, like, I know there were certain positions that I was in where I was like kind of crab walking down in the cave, because the further you go into it, it gets really cold and damp and wet, so the mud and clay it gets really slick in there.
This cave system was well mapped in most of the traversable areas. There were also well-known areas that were more challenging, like the birth canal or the aorta crawl. These areas were tight and difficult to pass.
Dude, I cannot imagine crawling into this, dude. That's, it's making me cringe. Just look at this. This is gross.
More experienced cavers would be attempting to squeeze through these passages. Even with the known challenges, people still found themselves stuck in tight squeezes in these tunnels.
Imagine being this guy, and then the guy with the camera and the light is going forward. What if he gets stuck or this guy gets stuck? If he gets stuck, he can't move forward. If this guy gets stuck, he can't go backwards. I would need like 100% guarantee that I'm making it out of here alive to want to go in this cave.
Nutty Putty had just recently been opened back up to the public.
Nutty Putty enthusiasts will face more obstacles beyond squeezing into the popular spelunking playground now that officials have decided to gate off the entrance after a publicized debate on whether or not to close the cave's. Officials from the State School and Institutional Trust Lands Administration have decided to let the Tempangos Grotto restrict access to the area. This is a moral thing that we do not want to live with. Cave needs more management or to be closed. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just close this off in the first place. What do you mean in 2004 two people were stuck in the cave over Labor Day weekend and a search team were called to come find them? Like, if you know that people go into caves, especially this, why wouldn't you either A, make it accessible, like, so that way it's easier to go in and out of, or B, just shut the thing down, especially if it's in the middle of nowhere? I don't think liability is an issue at all, but I do believe that we don't want to tell somebody that their son or daughter died in our cave. The cave has been attracting adventure-seeking people for years. And what sucks even more is that on one hand, it's dangerous and that you don't want people to go in it, but on the other hand, it's like it becomes even more of an attraction if people do go in it and something happens. The next time another person stumbles upon it, they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, this is the cave, man. This is the cave that I heard about that those people got stuck and died in." And then people are gonna want to go in it because they're stupid, curious. They just don't care. People need to be more careful, man.
After being closed for several years because of cavers getting stuck in these difficult squeezes, they were passable for some, but others would find that their
Look at this dude. He's sandwiched in there.
shoulders or hips would just not pass, no matter how hard they pulled against the...
He looks like a worm right now, trying to inch through the dirt. And you know this ain't comfortable for him. Say some accident, weather-related happened. This just shifted a little bit, and he's stuck there.
rock. After wedging themselves in the narrow space, they were completely stuck, requiring serious assistance to inch out backwards. Because of these rescues, a new permit-style entry was required, listing 2 experienced cavers per group. Josh had obtained a permit for a group to explore the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, November 24, 2009. John's pregnant wife Emily stayed back at the house with their 1-year-old daughter Lizzie to enjoy a more relaxing evening with the in-laws. Their group of 11 family and friends started off in the main open cave sections.
Their group of 11 family and friends. Did they die in this cave?
Eventually, John and his brother Josh took 2 friends off to find more challenging tunnels to try. They had heard stories about the birth canal and consulted the map for its location. It was known to be a long, tight passage with a particularly tight squeeze near the...
Like, look at this dude. Look at him. Look at him. He's trying to clamp on to something, and he's just stuck like this. Like, imagine, bro. You can't do anything. Imagine he gets stuck. Like, imagine he moves up a little bit, gets stuck in this area, and he just like, oh, fuck.
The end. If you could just get past the narrowest part, there would be a small room at the end to stand...
Yeah, see? That was a guy. That's even worse, bro. That'd make me so uncomfortable. Like, I think I'd be fine until, like, I couldn't move and I'd start freaking out.
Stand up and turn around. They knew that the birth canal would be tight and could be panic-inducing, even for experienced cavers. They spread out to try to find this particular tunnel. John and Josh took the passage on the left, moving through a small tunnel for around 15 feet. It undulated up and down in several elevations over the next 10 feet. There were outcroppings of rocks and tight squeezes that required a caver to twist their body in several orientations to get shoulders past, then hips, and finally twisting legs so that...
So you go straight, and then you gotta go up here. You gotta contort your body to go from laying like this, and then you gotta, like, shift a little bit and come up this way. That's insane.
Proper direction. It was not a matter of simply pulling your body forcefully...
Like, look at him. He's trying to think right now, dude.
...that they bend in the proper direction.
He's like, how do I do this? And he's like trying to find something to grab onto so he can shift his weight.
It was not a matter of simply...
Like, this is a stumped look. This is the look of how the hell this area does not, it's so narrow.
...pulling your body forcefully through a tight hole. This area was called the corkscrew because the...
Yeah, like, what? This alone looks... You're just gonna go like this.
Few who had been through it were small and flexible, using all their skills to maneuver slowly through the panic-inducing contortions. After the corkscrew area...
Yeah, you'd have to take, like, shallow breaths to get through here, especially up here and through here and here.
The passage angles up for another 5 feet or so, then turns down over a rock ledge with a sharp 90-degree bend to the left. Up until now, cavers had used this small area after the corkscrew to turn back on themselves if needed, and head back through the difficult section. 5 years before, a 16-year-old boy named Brock Clark was stuck in this corkscrew section. He was only 5 foot 7 inches tall and weighed 140 pounds, but got wedged when he was trying to turn around. It took 14 hours for rescuers to free him. John was in the exact spot where Brock got stuck trying to turn around. Since John was 6 feet tall and 200 pounds, he clearly knew that turning around in this part of the tunnel was not an option for him.
Is this him?
He was in a 12-inch high space, with not enough lateral area for his pressed body to ball up for a turn. He pushed forward to the ledge area and squeezed over the top of it. It was a tight area to get through, but he thought he could see it open up down below. He sucked in his stomach and pressed himself through the squeeze, pulling forward on the rocks in front of him. He would be moving headfirst in a downwards angle now, but it looked like there was an area ahead to turn around. John didn't know it, but no one else had ever crossed over.
Look at how small that is, bro.
over this ledge before. He was in completely uncharted territory. Despite being in an extreme...
Bro, and you know he was just scared when he got right here. Like, you know he just felt defeated. How? How do you, like, I don't know. I mean, this is small, but like how do you even get down there?
Uncharted territory. Despite being in an extremely tight and uncomfortable position, John kept his cool. He was certain that there would be an opening ahead. All along, he thought he was in some part of the birth canal, where many cavers had felt stuck in the constricting tunnel, but ended up being just fine once they reached the other side. Once he passed through a tight zone, he started to slide toward the bottom of this tunnel. He was nearly doing a handstand, trying to hold his body up and figure out how to push backwards. He still couldn't turn, and now he was upside down. Gravity was pulling his 200-pound body against the fading strength of his arms. He yelled out to his brother Josh and told him not to follow him, but to go back out. They discussed his options and decided that moving forward to try to turn around was the best idea. He was collapsing onto his shoulders and head at this point, and needed to make a move to get out of this vertical position. His headlamp gave him a glimpse of a hole in the floor ahead, which might lead to a larger space. He felt a little more hopeful.
That, dude. Fuck that. If I fall down here, first thing I'm doing, turning around, going right back up there, and going back out the same way I came in. Like, you guys trying to find a bigger hole ain't gonna do shit. Especially if you know that people have gone in here and think bad shit's gone down.
Thinking that they would be laughing about this misadventure over Thanksgiving dinner. He made the slight turn and headed towards the hole. Exactly how he got himself into this tunnel hole is unknown. It's thought that he may have slipped, hit his head, and became wedged in the tight space. The other thought was that he looked in the hole, but misjudged what he saw, thinking it was an opening and not simply a dead-end fissure. Either way,
It was a dead end.
John had ended up in a small opening in the bottom of this tunnel, which was impossibly narrow. Just 18 inches by 10 inches, not much bigger than the screen of a laptop computer. John found himself wedged nearly completely upside down at a 70-degree angle. He had spent some time trying to push himself back upwards out of this hole. It was exhausting. His arms were pinned in a useless position.
Imagine being his buddy, or his brother, or whatever the fuck, and you come down here, and he's like, don't come down here, it's not safe. And then you go down there anyway, and you see that he's fucking stuck. What do you even do? If your arms, unless your arms are like this, you got like maybe a little bit of room to, like, I don't know how you're doing that unless you got a fucking rope on you.
One folded under his chest, and the other trapped on a rock down by his side. He strained against the walls and quickly realized that all of his effort would not move him back up 5 feet to the shallow tunnel. His calves and feet were still free up in the passage, but his legs were now wedged on the smallest side of the hole, only 8 inches wide. He started yelling for Josh again. His brother knew that he was trying to turn around, so his yells were not a good sign. Josh made his way back into this tight space and traversed the corkscrew path.
Buddy, what the f is that? Even worse than this motherfucker. He's laying down face down, ass up. You're crab walking to him. You're gonna be no use.
But unlike his brother, he went feet first this time. He continued toward the sound of John's voice, up over the ledge. He finally came to an alarming sight. He could see the end of his brother's legs sticking out of the rock, as if it had swallowed him whole. He inched forward until his feet could squeeze one of John's legs. He tried to grip and pull up, while John pushed from his end. After several futile attempts, they were both feeling exhausted and frustrated. Josh could see that this was very serious, and they would need professional help to get him out. They agreed that Josh should go get help, and John should try, as much as possible, to stay calm and relaxed. While Josh went for help, one of the other family friends went into the area to speak to John and let him know that he wasn't alone. For several hours, John just remained trapped upside down, focused mostly on the chore of breathing. The fissure squeezed his chest, where only shallow breaths were possible. All of his efforts to move up had actually settled him deeper into the crack. As time went on, gravity continued to pull him against the rough walls of the tunnel, tightening its grip on his exhausted body. Once help had arrived, the first cave rescuer, Susie Matola, made her way to where John was stuck. It was now 12:30 in the morning, and John had been upside down for 3 hours. Susie was just 5 feet 3 inches tall, so working her way through the corkscrew area was much easier for her. Ropes had been tied to her ankles as a precaution in case she got stuck as well. She checked on how John was doing and let him know that they'd be getting him out. He must have had a small wave of relief, thinking that professional help had arrived and he would soon be free of this trap. Susie tied webbing straps around his legs and then fed it back to the pit where the tunnel started. Several attempts were made to pull on the ropes to leverage John back up and out of the fissure. There was just too much friction on the ropes to make any effective release on John. He was still pinned, without the use of his arms to fully assist. After attempting a few things and considering many aggressive options, the decision was made to enlist a pulley system in order to help lift John up and out. A pulley had been successfully used when Brock Clark was stuck 5 years before. Even though they had a plan of how to help, this was not an easy location to work in. Each piece of equipment would need to be brought in from the entrance, which took nearly an hour to reach the other side of Corkscrew. The tunnel was extremely tight, and only smaller power tools could be carried in and out. Only one person could be in there to assist at a time, and they would need to be small or wiry to effectively move through the passage. It was just not an ideal situation. Each pulley took an extraordinary amount of time to install. During this time, cavers were trying to talk with John, console him, and share stories to keep him calm and talking. He was a devout Mormon and spent time praying and singing to seek solace in this unreal situation. John had spent the night upside down and was showing signs of the physical limitations of the body to withstand this position. The human body was not made to be upside down for long. The entire circulatory system is designed using pulses of pressure from the heart to move blood forward through the system, while valves and fibrous vessels would hold blood and stop it from going backwards. This one-way flow balances pressure, gravity, and valves to keep oxygen available to all tissues and to remove toxins from the body through the kidneys. John's body had been fighting gravity for more than 12 hours. The brain was not built to withstand this kind of fluid pressure. Fluids were building up in his lungs, and toxins were starting to accumulate from the lack of proper circulation. His organs were pressing on his lungs, and each breath was an exhausting effort for muscles not built for such work. His breathing was slowing, and he was completely spent from the effort. Throughout the night, he had gone from being completely calm and lucid to helplessly thrashing his legs and hallucinating. It was excruciating to watch for the rescuers. They were helpless, exhausted, and feeling trapped themselves. The air in this cave system was warm and damp. It took a concerted effort to remain calmly breathing when you are restricted and can't move or even breathe properly. But the rescuers knew they could get out when needed. John didn't have that luxury. He couldn't expand his chest to breathe, and the air around him was losing its oxygen concentration little by little. During this time, a wired telecom system was brought down to where John was stuck. His wife spoke with him, encouraging him to hang on and be faithful. John assured her that he would be out with her soon.
No, dude.
It wasn't until 4 o'clock that—
Dude, that made me so scared. Like, imagine you're giving me or some type of walkie-talkie or some shit, and my fucking wife is on the phone. Dude, I'd be upside down, heartbroken, sad. Like, I'd be hopeless, not hopeful. Like, I'd feel like I'm gonna die down here. Somebody's giving me that walkie-talkie as like a goodbye. Like, that'd be heartbreaking.
That day that they finally got the pulleys in place to move him. Ryan Schertz was in the tunnel when the system was ready to try. John's body had settled into the narrow side of the opening, so Ryan had to push his legs over as the team pulled from outside. Each heave moved him inch by inch up out of the hole. By this time, John's legs were in excruciating pain. A rope had been tied around his leg.
Dude, how did they get him out of here if they did? Because if you got the pulley going this way, his knees are about to hit this shit where they're gonna go backwards. Like, so either way, this lower half is about to be in pain.
For hours, as rescuers tried various methods to help him out. They were completely blue and had no discernible pulse, yet each tug had him call out to stop as his nerves were ultra-sensitive at this point. They paused to give him a moment to gather himself, and then tried again. It seemed to be working. John was finally being pulled up out of this hole. He was raised enough for Ryan to look down to make actual eye contact with him, and passed down a tube to drink Gatorade. This effort was extremely slow going, and they were all exhausted from the difficult effort. Ryan was squeezed in a tunnel just 12 inches high, and had his head near John's legs as they worked him slowly out of the tight 10-inch fissure. Although they were making some progress in lifting him up, they were no closer to getting him out. His legs were hitting the low ceiling above his tunnel, and twisting them into the passage was impossible. He had no control over his legs now, after 19 hours upside down. Without his help to delicately bend his knees to the side, they were strongly considering breaking his legs to get him back into the passage, because time was running out for John. Then, in a sudden moment of blinding pain, Ryan blacked out. When he came to, he was bleeding heavily and confused. The rope, holding the pulley to a natural arch section in the cave, broke and whipped the carabiner and pulley directly into Ryan's face.
This guy got knocked out because this hit him in the fucking dome, and when he woke up, he was bleeding. So now, not only is this guy stuck, can't get out, this guy's bleeding, possibly concussed.
Section in the cave broke and whipped the carabiner and pulley directly into Ryan's face. He suffered damage to his face, lip, and tongue, as well as a concussion. He had to get out of there quickly. John was back where he started, completely wedged in the tunnel with the circulation to his arms cut off and his legs completely dead. He was unable to help free himself in any way. This moment started the final demise of John Jones. After Ryan was checked out in the pit and then sent off to the hospital, his father Dave took his place in the passage with John. It took an hour to re-establish the pulley lines, and Dave tried to tie a rope around John's body, but couldn't get the rope past his wedged torso. All the time Dave was with John, he was not responsive. This entire operation required John's help to effectively rescue him. There was no way to lift his 200-pound, 6-foot frame without him pushing and trying to leverage himself in some way. In Dave's effort to tie up John, he got himself stuck for about 15 minutes. Their desperate effort to help save this man had put both his son and himself in danger. It was a devastating reality. Once he had pushed himself back into the 12-inch tunnel...
Is he in water? Oh, hell no, dude. This is just getting more and more fucked.
He was exhausted and had to leave. Brandon Kowalis took his place and brought in the telecom system so John's family could talk to him. His wife Emily expressed her love and told him to take a break and rest after all of his effort. She still truly believed he would be coming out, but Brandon could see what she could not. John was no longer responsive, and no signs of life could be heard. Over the previous several hours, Ryan reported the gurgling breaths that John was struggling with. Now, there was silence. The rescue team gathered in the pit area inside the cave and discussed the situation. It was determined that a medical professional would need to confirm that he had actually passed. A paramedic was sent into the tight section to confirm what was suspected. At 11:56 on Wednesday, November 25th, John Jones was pronounced dead. The rescue teams worked for 24 hours straight to try to free John, but it was just not possible with his upside-down position. The clock was ticking, and he just ran out of time.
So his body
John survived an
still
extraordinary
there?
27 hours in an inverted position, which is 3 times longer than what was predicted as possible. The 6 rescue personnel who actually reached John in that rocky prison were truly heroic. They willfully placed themselves in a portion of the cave that was unmapped with many known risks. They were selfless in their efforts, maintained a calm demeanor, and never gave up on a seemingly impossible rescue. After they determined that recovering the body would be impossible, John was left to rest in the Ed's Push section of the Nutty Putty cave for eternity. The entire cave system was closed off with concrete, never to be explored again.
So his
A plaque was
body is still there, dude. Wow, that is so sad.
placed there to commemorate the life of John Jones.
That was a good video. Wow, dude. No, John Edward Jones' body was never recovered from the Nutty Putty cave. It remains entombed in the cave after a tragic death in 2009 due to the extreme danger involved in a recovery operation, leading to the permanent closure of the cave, according to NBC News and Wikipedia. Wow, dude. That sucks. That's crazy.